Greetings, everyone. Those of you at home are watching this either on Facebook or on our community access television station. So we want to thank in advance LATV or LTV for their sponsorship, helping us put this together. This is our White Cross Twilight Memorial Ceremony. We normally hold it at live, 6 o'clock on a Friday. We're not able to do that this year for obvious reasons. So we're going to do it now, and then you'll have the pleasure of watching it from home. So at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our mayor, Mayor Dean Mazzarella.
Good afternoon. The city's motto is we must, we can, we will be free. And as Mr. Roberge has so eloquently described, the supreme sacrifice that those have made through many generations to keep us free. And our responsibility after that is to remember. And even though we've been given circumstances beyond our control, it doesn't mean that the White Cross ceremony is any less important than it ever was. In fact, it's more important. The crosses behind us represent generations of those that not only made the supreme sacrifice, but never made it back to their homeland. But we don't give hope, bless you. We don't give up hope because we know from our own experiences that sometimes and in the future, we know many will be located and their remains will be located and then brought back here to their hometown. Many who left here from just high school. And Mr. McNeil, Larry, every year for as long as I can remember has led us down to the pond. And I love the story, and I love the symbol, and I love the tradition, and I love the ceremony.
50 years.
50 years. Have you done this for 50? Unbelievable. And you still look great, Larry, and you're still at the helm. We follow you, and it just wouldn't be the same without you. So keep yourself healthy. But how important it is, and regardless, today, tonight, this parking lot would be filled. All of these chairs would be filled. And I know it pains many of you not to be able to come here to pay your respects, but you are, by watching this, paying your respects and making sure that no one who serves this country is ever forgotten. And today and tonight is a demonstration of that. So thank you as we follow Larry to the pond. We cast the flowers. The tradition continues. We always remember, and we must, we can, and we will be free at all cost.
Thank you. At this time, I would ask our illustrious Leominster local historian, Mark Bedanza, to share some light on some of these brave heroes behind us who never came home. Mr. Bedanza?
Thank you. On Sunday, November 17th, 1918, Mr. and Mrs. Edward Dubé of 17 Central Place in Leominster got the telegram no American family wanted that fall. On that long ago November afternoon, the Dubés and their 4 daughters and 2 sons learned their beloved son and brother Charles was killed in action. Charles died while serving with the 325th Infantry Regiment, 82nd Division, Company M, on October 11th during the Battle of Meuse-Argonne in Grand Pré, France. The news hit especially hard as the family hoped that the peace armistice, approved just 6 days before the sad telegram was delivered, meant Charles would return home safely. The battle, a major part of the final Allied offensive of World War I, raged between September 26th and November 11th. It was the largest and most deadly in U.S. military history. Involved 1.2 million American soldiers. More than 26,000 of those brave men and brothers in arms with Charles Dubé lost their lives. October 11th was the first action seen in the war by Company M. They marched up a road to take a position held by the Germans on the top of a small hill. They lost a number of their fellow soldiers on that open road, and of course, after they crossed the barbed wire and they made their way up the hill. They did in fact take the hill and held it against counter-offensives by the Germans. Before the day was done, 185 of Company M were on the casualty list of a total of 200 soldiers. At the time Dubé was drafted, he was working in Bridgeport, Connecticut, but previously he earned his living as a comb maker in several Leominster factories. The newspapers said that he was popular and had scores of friends. Dubé is buried in France at the American Cemetery at Meuse-Argonne. The Fitchburg Sentinel announced his death the day after Dubé family received the War Department dispatch. In the same edition, the Leominster Board of Health Chairman, Dr. Charles Bigelow, announced there would be no necessity to bring back emergency hospitals in the city or order new school and business closures as a result of the influenza epidemic that struck the region and the country. Especially hard hit by the Spanish influenza pandemic, were soldiers in France and those returning to Fort Devens and other military installations throughout the country. Bigelow said, "What Leominster is getting now is the natural aftermath of the real epidemic. It is nothing to be alarmed about. We were expecting the conditions we are now getting. Fortunately for the area residents, in the waning weeks of 1918, the influenza was mutating and becoming far less lethal. But unfortunately, many American soldiers, including 15 from Leominster, succumbed to the Spanish influenza, which gripped the world a century ago. One of those soldiers was Enrico Churi, who died on January 27, 1919 in France. Local records for 101 years suggested that Churi was buried in France. If that could be substantiated, Enrico Churi would be entitled to one of the solemn white crosses that stand behind me. However, our Veteran Services Director had a hunch. Perhaps, like many World War I deceased, his body was reinterred by his family since no records of a French grave could be found in the American cemetery records. Churi did not come back to Leominster for burial, but my curiosity as to his final resting place needed to be satisfied. The mystery was solved last Sunday when I was able to find Churi's Department of Defense burial card. Churi's body was moved by his parents in September of 1922 to his native Italy, where he was reinterred in the mausoleum at Civita Tarantenga. Enrico went home, and no White Cross need stand sentinel for his absence. Now, more than a century later, our local record is properly amended. All of these men, whether killed on the battlefield by the clash of arms or by the ravages of disease and trenches dug for their survival, deserve our reverence and respect. We must never forget the sacrifice of the multitude or the deeds of the individual who live with hope and dreams until their last breath. May God bless and keep you, Charles and Enrico.
At this time, it's fitting that we read the names of those 56 soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and merchant Marines who never returned home. They're buried at sea, lost at sea, missing in action, or buried on foreign soil. Singleman First Class Clyde William Albee, Jr. Staff Sergeant Robert W. Barker. Second Lieutenant Lyman M. Bates, Jr. Able Seaman George J. Blanchette. First Lieutenant Walter M. Bolin. Singleman, 3rd class, Rodrigo G. Cafoni. Technician, 5th class, Romeo J. Sharon. Private 1st class, Gerald J. Cormier. Chief Alton A. Cousins. Private Alfred Delbove. Private Antonio Delbove. Signalman 1st class, Victor Devarney. Private Charles E. Dubé. 2nd Lieutenant Albert F. Duval. Machinist mate, 3rd class, Mario B. Feeney. Private John J. Finn.
Private Henry P. Flibbert. Water Tender 2nd Class John William Fortune, Jr. 2nd Lieutenant Frank M. Foster. Private 1st Class Leo M. Gagnon. Private 1st Class Arthur O. Gopert. 2nd Lieutenant Frederick Gordon. Private 1st Class Alfred Gravalli. Private Everett E. Grimes. 1st Lieutenant Kenneth E. Hastings. Seaman 1st Class Bernard William Jocelyn. Lieutenant Junior Grade Michael M. Jocelyn. Private 1st Class Lester R. King. Sergeant Walter E. Kursowitz. Signal 2nd Class William Courtney Lavoie. Private Harold L. Lord. Seaman 1st Class Arthur Raymond Marcoux.
Private Joseph Russell Martineau. Private 1st Class John J. McGillen. Private Edmund Melanson. Utility Man Gerard Joseph Mitchell. Ordinary Seaman Lawrence Lenwood Mitchell. 1st Lieutenant Richard C. Nicholas. Quartermaster Chief Wyatt Thomas Ordung. Machinist Mate 3rd Class Darius Joseph Parrott. Private Emery J. Pelkey. Gunner's Mate 3rd Class Frank Joseph Patrica. Seaman 1st Class Roland H. Pothier. Private Edmund F. Porter, Jr. Private 1st Class Francis C. Quinn. Private Adrian Savalieri. Corporal Frank William Sawyer. Staff Sergeant William D. Scully.
From World War II, Private 1st Class Ralph E. Sherwin. 2nd Lieutenant Arthur J. Simpson. Staff Sergeant Nelson E. Simmons. Private 1st Class John F. Supple, Jr. Gunner's Mate 3rd Class Mateo C. Turano. Ship's Cook 2nd Class Robert Leon White. Lieutenant Everett Merton Woodward, and from Korea, Sergeant 1st Class Leo Bernard Yeo.
Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com.
And by Medical Arts Hearing Instruments, 52 West Street in Leominster, locally and authentically providing better hearing and quality of life since 1978. www.donotshout.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the City of Leominster. We're live, well, till 5 o'clock, and sorry getting a little bit of a late start, but we'll move things along as quick as we possibly can. But if you have any questions, you can post them on Facebook if you'd like, and also 978-537-777-60, extension 3. That's extension 3. Let's go right to the phones because it's time for the long-awaited art report.
I don't know about long-awaited, but grew up on rhubarb, and I had a slice of rhubarb pie about 20 minutes ago. Oh, was it good.
But do you think the rain will hurt the rhubarb?
I have no idea.
The answer to that is not if they put it in tin cans.
That sounds like a logical explanation.
No, that's the point. It's illogical. That makes no sense. But I heard the saying a long time ago, and it's stuck with me. Do you think the rain will hurt the rhubarb? Not if they put it in tin cans.
They used to pick it in the backyard. That and she'd take molasses in the winter and put it over snow in a snowball, and we'd eat the snowball. Anyhow, new experience today. 80 Erdman Way, doctors. What a wonderful setup they got over there. It's unbelievable. Plenty of parking.
Yeah, there's a lot of medical people in those buildings over there.
Yeah, the process, because of the influenza, right to the letter of the law. It was perfect. We pulled in 20 minutes early, actually, but we should have been there 15 minutes early. And our phone rang. It was them coming to meet us. Of course, we were at the wrong side of the building, so I drove around. But they were there. They were, and they provided masks, and it was wonderful.
Wow.
And then yesterday, got a haircut. Oh my God, did that feel good? At Capelli's on Central Street, they come and get you at the car. They supply gloves and a mask. Perfect.
Yeah, everybody's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
and,
people have done a good job.
They were tired. They've been very busy, but accommodating as usual.
Good. Good to hear.
Yeah. And now, I know that people have been waiting for this report, and they're frothing at the mouth. The fig tree.
Yes?
Looks like it's been lifting weights all winter.
Really?
Maron, the leaves are the size of my hand. We
Well,
got
this
a bumper
is
crop coming.
very important to hear this information.
Yes, it is. Some of the leaves weren't catching up with the other leaves, but everybody's caught up now.
Good. I'm so happy.
It's serving a dual purpose.
Yes.
Actually, a triple purpose. It's in a huge pot on the deck, and the pot is also on top of a metal plate, which gathers some water when it's watered and stuff. And the wildlife comes and sips the water around the rim at the bottom of the thing.
Perfect.
So we're helping them out as well.
I can't wait.
Oh, it looks like it's going to be the best ever.
Nothing like a fresh fig.
We were concerned about it, but it's looking well. Having said that, I will cut you short so you can get going here. We don't want human resources getting on you for being late for work today.
Somebody, urethane, the floor is downstairs, which is a good thing, but it's powerful upstairs. That's all I can say right now. It's very powerful.
There you go.
But it looks nice. They did a great job down there. So,
good.
Yes. All right.
Adios.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Arrivederci. Ta-ta. Sayonara. And let's see. Okay. Let's get to the, let me get back to my page. And there we are. Everybody loves art stories. See that, Art? Everybody loves your stories. Okay, we're on till 5 o'clock, and then this gets replayed. I don't know if it gets replayed tonight. I know the high school awards banquet activity function is on tonight, starting at 7 o'clock back there, guys. And what channel? This channel?
Education.
Okay, so does this show get replayed at 6:30 to 7:30 tonight? I know that's not the full
6
show.
to 7.
6 to 7 tonight. Okay. So anyway, I will be out of here at 5 and let them do their thing, and then the awards. And one of the things that is very special that I get to do every year is I get to give the Mayor's Award. And unfortunately, I can't hand it to this young person, but it is quite the resume that they've built over the last 12 years of school for them. And so tonight you can watch all of the students. Some get 1 or 2 or 3, and then some get 5 or 6 or 7. But it is very impressive to see our students being awarded various grants and scholarships, and even more powerful is the total amount, which is, I think, a couple $100,000 that different funds are set up, and members of the community or businesses or groups present to the class of 2020. So an exciting night. So if you get a chance to watch it tonight at 7 o'clock on the Education Channel here on Access Television. Okay, again, if you have any questions, I'm trying to read my little sort of my Facebook page where some might post things, and but I'll get moving, and as I see things, I will read them off. And thank you for joining us. I know it's a beautiful afternoon, and hopefully some of you can catch us on the TV end of this all or on the phone end of it all. But remember, the important phone number is 978-534-7500, extension 0. And at the Emergency Operations Center, 978-534-7500, extension 5055. Let's hit some slides if we can. There's our important phone numbers. Put them up for you. And there's the Leominster Veterans Center number, 978-534-538, 534-7538. Meals on Wheels, 345-8501. And let's go to the next slide. There's your state assistance if you're looking for unemployment benefits, mass.gov/DUA. And for those that are self-employed, PUA. SBA, again, there are 3 main, I'll read them in a minute, but there are 3 main websites I want you to look at if you have a business in town. Don't forget that the Red Cross, there's their information up top. Remember, everything you see here is also on our website at leominster-ma.gov. So 1-800-RED-CROSS, resources for kids, leominsterlibrary.org. And let's see, United Way, there's their information right there. You can go to their website or go to 211. Growing Places was at the senior centers. They are each and every Wednesday. Catholic Charities, tomorrow from 8:30 to 4:30. There's their phone number, 978-840-0696. You maybe want to call, and if there are things that you need, give them a buzz. And then also, what they don't have, I'm sure you can get at Ginny's. And so Ginny's Food Pantry is open. Thank you, Kyle. And Tuesday to Saturday, 10 to 1 o'clock. In addition, they're now delivering food if you can't get to Ginny's, and that's with the Leominster Emergency Management. So 978-537-1387. Want to give a big shout out to those from Emergency Management because they are mostly volunteers, and every day of the week they made sure, absolute sure, that students get their food, and also the elderly and anybody else, and they're all volunteers. They also bring food over bags from Chartwell over to Silverleaf Apartments, the old Litchfield Terrace, and they also bring them to the Riverside Apartments. And so, yes, that's a great service. They do this on their own free time, and we'd like to thank them. I'm going to zip over. I'm going to leave that slide up because I think I have new numbers here. And let's see. Okay, so Leominster numbers are down 30 today. So I don't have the slide to show you. This is yesterday's, but we are down 30 to 178. That's the most significant day we've had since this all really ramped up. And then 416 total completed, and that's up 21. So we're 30 down on new cases or cases, and we're 21 cases up on those that have recovered. So those by far are the best numbers. Total cases in Massachusetts have gone up 412. We're reaching that 100,000 mark. Total tested in Massachusetts, 7,115. Total deaths in Massachusetts as of today, it's gone up 50. And Worcester County cases gone up 64. So Health Alliance now has 19 COVID cases testing positive with 6 in the ICU. I did talk to a spokesperson at Health Alliance today, and they are getting back to normal. They have more people in the hospital now than those test positives, and it's just they are sterilized and clean. It's a very safe place to go, but getting the information out to the public as to it's a safe place. Because remember, at the beginning, we wanted everybody to stay away from the emergency room. We didn't want anybody near the hospital. We said, well, this is not the place to be, not for elective surgery. Don't come here unless you really need to. And now we're back saying, okay, safe, it's clean. This is not only we're clean, and done all the infectious disease control measures are in place. And so the hospital's filling up with non-COVID patients. So those are the numbers for today. I'll get back to, and you can see it's dropped. This is probably the biggest drop we've had in some time. There we are, and the numbers will probably change tomorrow, but there we are, sort of mid-range in terms of total cases. But a lot of this is depending on whether or not you have a nursing home in your community or some sort of assisted living. And stay-at-home advisory has changed a little bit. And people over 65 who are underlying conditions, let's see, okay, who have underlying conditions should be aware. But I think pretty much everybody now knows the drill. And on the reopening plan, we'll go one more time. Tennis courts in Leominster for family members. Don't play if you're exhibiting symptoms. I mean, some of this common sense things, clean your equipment and don't share it with anybody. Try to practice 6 feet apart. Don't linger. Leominster Public Library is doing their curbside pickup. They've been pretty busy, 9:30 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're taking returns. And so you can call them at that phone number, 978-534-7522, extension 3, if you'd like. And let's see what else. And also you can get them on their website. I'll go back to our Facebook page, see if there are any questions here. Will the pride flag be displayed for the month? Not the month of, but yes, it will. We started getting some dates here in place, but yes. Let's go to the next slide, please. Every Monday, they're going to have a new craft kit option. Each kit contains, this is at the public library, so again, all of this information is on our website, and we'd really like you to go because it's not just this information, it's a whole lot of other information. And boy, it's nice to see a picture of the Leominster Public Library and know that we're gradually getting to the point where we'll be reopening and we'll be ready, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. Ball field information, closed until phase 2, but you can get on the fields to start to do some, work on the field, so that's good news. As you know, I didn't catch the governor's press conference today, so I don't know exactly what they were saying. Why not the full month? Because we weren't able to coordinate, well, because of all this going on, and now we've got sort of marches tomorrow, so we weren't able to we weren't able to get our schedules to coincide, so I think we picked a date, and that's why it's not the full month. And let's see. We'll go to new source to purchase supplies. So if you're a business having a hard time getting supplies, go to mass.gov. And they'll get you, a list of people, and I think they've been sort of pre-screened so that they're not ripping you off. No matter what phase it is, everything applies, right? You know the drill. No persons within 6 feet of each other, sanitized, training for employees on all of the above. I went into today, I did my show from the Played Against Sports, and they are so organized. All of their policies and procedures are on the wall, laminated. They are ready to go, and every business I visited is, again, ready to go. There's the dashboard for public health indicators. You can get that on the mass.gov website as well. Reopening is going to be driven by a couple of things. One of them is the average of positive test results, which are going down. The 3-day average of hospitalization, which has gone down. Hospitals' usage of ICU surge capacity, which has gone down. And the 3-day average of deaths by date of death. And again, though, that's lingering at 50 to 74, and it'll go back to 50 and to 74. So anyway, those are the things that the governor and our Department of Public Health and local health agencies are watching very closely. 978-534-7500, extension, 978-537-7760 is the number to call here at extension 3 if you have a question. If not, post it on our Facebook page. What can open in phase 2? I don't know what the governor said today. Didn't catch it. It's just been nonstop today. And so there's the potential upgrade and guidance for phase 1, which are already open. Some restrictions and capacity limitations for retail, restaurants, lodging. and healthcare. They're going to expand so that we can start to get into routine care, less urgent preventive services and procedures. And so you know all of that. Recreation campgrounds can open, playgrounds, public and community pools, and all athletic fields and courts with guidance will happen in phase 2. Again, it's, this is sort of all kind of swinging around there. We'll update you tomorrow morning as to what and if the governor said anything that's going to change the phase 2 portion of this. But I would have to tell you, everyone's ready. I am so excited. I'm probably going to eat out every night. We will eat out every night. There are so many exciting things that are happening with our local restaurants, and they could not be any more excited about opening. Some have tents or sort of canopies, and they have outdoor seating, and we're working with the License Commission. So we're pulling out all the stops for them, so it's safe for them, their customers, and the general public as well. So that's pretty exciting. I can't wait. And you know what? A lot of businesses, I'm sure, were contemplating outdoor dining, but just, you get caught up, it gets busy, you don't have the time to do it. Well, now everybody's sort of thinking about it, and I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed. Robin, I was told by the police department that they did go through the entire route tomorrow for the 2:30 event, and I'm not sure, maybe they left something for you on your door. Let me know if they didn't reach out to you, but supposedly they went through the entire route from Doyle Field through downtown, all the way down North Main Street to Main Street, and then down in front of City Hall, et cetera. So if that's not the case, please let me know, and I'll make sure you get notified as to exactly what's going on. We can open in phase 3. There you go. Worship and they're open already, and the churches, as we visited, are doing just fine. And everyone's actually beyond. Let's just say the guidelines are stringent and rightfully so. But all of the businesses I've seen, all of the places of worship, everyone has gone not only above, but above and beyond multiple times. They understand how important this is. They understand their responsibility, and off they go. This is just more information here, and when you get into a business, there are going to be little placards with lots of information that probably nobody will read. So the important things are the limited occupancy and making sure there's places to wash your hands and get hand washer and et cetera. If you're looking for guidance at all on schools, workplace, restaurant and bars, youth programs and camps, mass transit, child care programs, all of that, then you can visit the CDC because they have guidelines. But remember, they're guidelines, and take those into consideration when you're putting your own guidelines. And there's nothing to say that you can't have more stringent guidelines. So we've received about $82,000 for the police department, and also been designated as a MVP community, which means that we have taken climate change serious, and that we are and have been planning right along, and that we will respond to those changing weather patterns. And we've seen them. Washed out a piece of Moosonok Brook in one of the storms that we've had. Anyway, we are ready. We're always preparing. We're always getting up on top of our game, and we're always looking for areas to improve. And assessing every penny. CARES Act, I think we filed all the necessary paperwork today for $3.6 million from the CARES Act. That's the federal money that was passed, remember, by Congress and the Senate, and $1.2 million for our schools. Also, the fire department applied for grants for the smoke detector program, which is an excellent program. They've run it for many years for a new brush truck, and the police department applying for COVID. And again, we've already gotten approved for that, and then $272,000 in small business loan programs. And I'm happy to report we far exceeded our overall goal. I want to thank everyone, especially for sharing the information. So people that watch this show and watch our morning and afternoon briefings literally share this information with their favorite business, maybe a relative, somebody they know. And as a result, we went from like 30 people and almost triple the number of people that have applied for the grants. So we have a total of $272,000 to give out. This is not and I might say that almost everybody qualified, but this $272,000 that's going to go out as a grant. It does not have to be repaid, and this should be a huge boost to those businesses. This we're showing today. This is as of yesterday, and there's our dashboards in terms of average positive medical test rate across the state, 3-day average of the number of patients in the hospital at now 53. And we've got numbers of hospital usage down to 71%, and then again a minus 66 from where we were before on the total deaths. And again, just a sad situation in terms of losing one person, let alone cumulatively that total amount, which is now over 7,000, I believe. The daily and cumulative confirmed and probable cases here in the area, you can sort of take a look at that. And there's some up and down, but you can see pretty much the pattern is down. Testing by date and number of patients tested by molecular method by patient test date. So they're giving us some new information now. They're breaking it down differently. You can see the spike there, continuing testing and more testing and more testing. And testing by date for antibodies is going up, but you can see a little lull there in the beginning of June, at the end of May. And there's the rate per 100,000 of total COVID cases by date and county. There's our sort of dashboard in terms of the prevalence by county per 100,000. We've consistently stayed in that Leominster blue, that powder blue has stayed where it is, and hopefully these numbers change for both Plymouth and Essex and part of that Suffolk County. There's your daily and cumulative COVID hospitalization. There are about 1,684 people hospitalized right now. The count of cases currently in ICU are at 393, and the count of cases currently being incubated is still pretty high at 263. Total deaths, as I said, is over 7,000 now to 7,152. The average age is sticking around 52 of those that are testing positive. And there's the average age of those who are reported hospitalized. That number's up a little bit in terms of the age group at 68. And the average age of deaths. If you go back a label there, a slide, you can see everybody gets it of all age groups. It's sort of a step, literally a step, and another step goes up all the way. But really, those people passing away from this disease are clearly at the average age of 82. And there's your deaths and death rate by county. It reflects that other slide I showed you with the sort of powder blue, the western part of the state, central part of the state, with the Leominster blue, and then that dark blue in metropolitan Boston area. And there's your deaths by sex, previous hospitalization, and underlying conditions. Nothing much has changed. About 52%. It's equal between men and women for the most part. 55, so slightly down on hospitalization, and 98% of those elderly with underlying conditions are mostly underlying at 98%. I'll go by that slide. Here's your long-term facilities. We gave it to you just a minute ago, and we're up. There's your long-term at 350, but deaths right now at 4,447 in terms of those who have been in long-term facility, which is a large chunk. Actually more, it's like 65, 70% now of those who've passed away or have been in a long-term health care facility. They're still testing at Health Alliance. I understand they've done like 1,000, some huge amount, 8 to 4, 10 to 2 on weekends. You need to have symptoms or have been exposed to somebody that tested positive with symptoms. And also you can go to Reliant, call them. They'll sort of walk you through the process and move through as to whether or not you should be tested or not. Transfer station is closed on Saturdays. Yard leaf pickup is done, but you can bring it to the transfer station on Blueberry Lane in Fitchburg. Dog licenses are up. Get down there and get them registered, or at least give them a call or an email or fax. Starburst has been postponed to the 22nd of August, and graduation will be August 1st. Leominster tax information that was due, but if you're still having a hard time, by all means, allow the Treasurer's Office to know any other bills that have come in, excise tax, I don't know, water bills, sewer bills, you have to the end of the month. Comcast Essentials program. We want to thank, as we always do, for their hard work. They didn't give up. They've been at it since day one. We're trying to get as many electronic devices into the hands of kids who would otherwise never have them. And these are devices that they can actually keep. Those fumes are getting to me over there, you guys. They can actually keep these. But we've got to get you connected to the internet, 1-855-846-8376, so you can get that apply.internetessentials.com. But this is through Comcast, and stimulus checks are on the way. Hey, if you get one of those cards in the mail, do not cut it up. Hang on to it if you don't believe that if you believe it's a fraud, if it's a scam, hang on to it. Don't cut it out. Somebody called me late last night, texted me and said, oh no, guess what? I just saw on the news that this is not a scam, or for the most part it isn't, and I cut mine up. Don't do it. Check first. Registry of Motor Vehicles, in the event that you have something to do there, as I do, let your insurance company know. If they can't figure it out, they can't figure it out on the website, then call 857-368-8000, and those are the Registry of Motor Vehicles locations that are open. Don't forget Dr. Mazzarella with no payment. Dr. Mazzarella says, boot camp. Assume you have the virus. Assume everyone you come in contact with has the virus. Assume everything that you come in contact with is somehow or another compromised. Wash your hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Clean things frequently. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. Stay home if you don't feel good. And thanks for donating. We are going to have a big celebration, and big thanks to all of those who have been so kind and generous when they could. And again, we have so many people to thank. Let's thank our seniors, and many of the businesses have made special hours for them, but call. Not sure everybody's doing those, but restaurant takeout is still going. And so tomorrow morning, make sure you watch our show. It's going to be a very important one. We are going to be on location somewhere and visiting one of our small businesses, Daisy Dukes or whatever the name of that is. But anyway, it's over at the Manning Ave building, and we're going to be there tomorrow morning doing our morning briefing from there. But we'll give you a rundown on the opening of Phase 2. And don't forget, if you want to move your arms for total vascular circulation, a good place to do that is on our 26 miles of hiking trails: Barrett Park, Carter Park, Evelyn Hashey Park, Cormier Park, Moose-Knock Brook, Prospect Park, Mechanic Street, Phase 2 and 1 and 3 now, Shoalin Farms, and Doyle Field, and so much, much more. Hey, don't forget. Hey, do we have photos of the week back there, guys? Pictures of the week. There's Larry McNeil celebrating 50 years. 50 years of doing this particular event at our White Cross ceremony. And every year, ceremonially, if that's a word, ceremonially, the flowers are cast into the pond goes to the river goes to the ocean, and then the ocean goes to that sea ports and the sea and the beaches of all of those locations in parts of the world where our men and women were killed and never returned to their homeland. And that's a tradition that Larry has done for 50 years. Flagging of the cemeteries for Memorial Day. We were supposed to do this last week, but we didn't. Thank you to all that came out. They actually finished early. So many people came out. There's the White Cross ceremony. We got to see a little bit of that before. They'll be showing it, I assume, here on LTV. They'll be showing it other times. But every single cross you see behind where I'm standing is in memory of all of those. Those are all men and women who never returned back to homeland. Honoring our veterans as anticipated, as scheduled, as we always do in tradition, in great ceremonial tradition. We visited every ceremony, every monument in the city, and we did that on Memorial Day. Unfortunately, we couldn't have an audience, but we had to comply with the sort of rules and policies, and we did so. But we did pay respects to everyone, all of those that have gone before us that served this country. Mount Pleasant Ave's getting a new water line. There's not very much room to get up there during the day, but yes, it's quite telling that we're replacing that water line. I don't know how old that one is, but yesterday we went over the how do we get a street paved, and we talked about replacing water and sewer and gas lines and drainage and all of the above. And this is the last phase of Mount Pleasant Ave before it gets paved. We are also down working on Orchard Street, Walnut Street, parts of Grove Ave, which will then be paved. All the infrastructure work is done. We're also on Willard Street. We are on Willard Street finally. We ran into a problem there where one of our huge culvert pipes let go just as we were about to start paving it. And there's the restriping of the streets. It's that time of year. And honoring police and fire the other day over at the fire department, they were able to save a life between fire and police and our EMS folks. And we were so thrilled to see everybody there and to honor and thank them. There are so many situations where you hear constantly what a combined effort it is by all departments to save lives, and all of the success stories that we've had here in the city in terms of life saving. And there's the then and now. That is the Wilmette property. Remember, we secured it, phase 1 of that project. Down the house came, phase 2 came. That's what it looked like. There's phase 2, and then we're going to jump down to phase 3. There's the park, and there we are at phase 3, which goes all the way back. Wait to see, it's deceiving. You can't really see it from the top of Mechanic Street, but once it, once the seed takes and we've got the lawn established, we have a little playground in there, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. We hope you can visit it, and just a wonderful venue down there. Look at that, ornamental lights and St. Cecilia's in the backdrop. Isn't that beautiful? That's awesome. There's then and now. There you go. And we want to remind you to fill out your census. Okay, so for tomorrow and most of the day, it's been in meetings or conference calls and speaking about tomorrow's event. So tomorrow afternoon, we were contacted by this group of local people and young adults, and they are called Surge. And so they wanted to put an event together, and they want to do it at St. Cecilia's. They're going to do it tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. That's Friday night, just in case you catch this on a repeat. They are running a really nice, dignified, responsible event, and we thank them for that. It's been great working with them, and so we'll be out there tomorrow at 5:30. Now, there's another event, and what it appears as someone, there's no group, so we tried to reach out. We could reach out to Surge. This particular group, if there's a group or a person or persons, there is nobody that we can reach out to. Black Lives Matter hasn't sanctioned this event. They said that they're not, this is not one of their events. That's what we're being told. However, someone cropped a meme or a JPEG or whatever you want to call it and put it on social media. And if you watch social media, I'm sure you've seen it. And it says Black Lives Matter, implying that this is one of Black Lives Matter events, and posted it and said tomorrow at 2:30 from Doyle Field to City Hall. Well, because there is nobody, and we're trying to find out if anybody certainly knows, and we're not trying to stop the event at all, but it's much easier when we can work with organizers of these events for everybody's safety. Now remember, we're going to be leaving Doyle Field at 2:30. We're going to be marching down North Main Street to Main Street. There are a number of side roads. There's ambulances that come through that area to get to the hospital, a number of businesses along the way. So there are a whole lot of concerns, but there's nobody to go back to because there's no person that came forward and said, yeah, I put this post up, or this is my event. No organization, no person. So it makes it a little bit difficult for us to sort of correspond and communicate when there might be just somebody that just took it, posted it, and that's the end of that. But we know people are going to show up, so we have to be prepared. Prepared for what? That went down the wrong way. I don't know if more help. So, you know what it feels like. So, what we're trying to do is just be prepared for whatever. We don't know because there's no communication with the organizers if 5 people will show up, 500 or 5,000. So we have all these intersections to deal with. We have medical facilities. So, and it's a long stretch. It's over a mile. So we have to be prepared for anything. So does that mean that we expect either violence or something to go wrong? No, but we have to be prepared for the volume of people that may show up when we don't know, and we don't know who these organizers are. So, having said that, we will be at Doyle Field. I assume that the the group will leave and start their trek down through North Main Street onto Main Street and the right on West Street, and the final stop will be City Hall. So that will start around 2:30. I think the window is between 2:30 and 4:30, but then that coincides with sort of rush hour. But rush hour hasn't been work rush hour. It's just been people out rush hour. And so we have a number of businesses that are open downtown. So we're trying to keep all those balls up in the air. We don't want to shut businesses. I know in Fitchburg yesterday, a number of businesses closed. They just weren't sure what to expect. And, Friday's a busy day for businesses and takeout food and everything else in between. So anyway, that's what's going on. And hope that you are planning a fun weekend. And the weather is supposed to be warm tomorrow. And one of the fears is that's a long walk for anybody on a hot day at 2:30 in the afternoon. It's pretty much in the path of the sun. And so those are the sort of logistical things that we worry about is people not having the proper hydration and, so traffic. And then again, just keeping those who are walking safe, right? So we don't want to get to an intersection and somebody doesn't know what's going on and gets the green light and just comes through, right? So all of those things are things that we have to take into consideration, but I expect a very safe and an organized and respectful event, and why shouldn't be? And there's nothing wrong with protesting or sharing your thoughts and your ideas, and it is pretty much, this is a very opinionated community, and everyone's always willing to share their thoughts with you. We must be good listeners no matter what. And from listening, you learn, and you might not always agree, but there's those times when you stop and think, hey, you know what? I get it. Maybe think from a different perspective. I don't know what it's like to do or be, or I haven't experienced everything. And I know in life, not all experiences are good. Some are good, some are bad, but they are experiences, and you learn from them. So, again, I don't expect any problems, but we don't know how many people are coming. If anybody does know who the organizers are, please, this is not a negative. We just need to know for logistical purposes. You can Facebook message me, and you can, Monday is the ceremony. Yes. No, we haven't canceled that. That is still Monday, Monument Square. I don't know the time. If anybody knows it, you can put it there, and that's when the pride flag is going to be put up in Monument Square. Yes, and that has not been canceled. So anyway, that's the whole purpose of this. And again, we urge everybody, bring a bottle of water with you or whatever. It's supposed to be hot, and so we want to keep everybody healthy so that they make it to the final destination at City Hall. Okay, hey, we're out of time, right? Or are we allowed to go further? No, we got to cut it off. Hey, thank you. I very much appreciate your getting here and hanging in there because I was a little bit late. But remember, if anybody does know who the organizers might be or who they are, just Facebook message me and let me know. And again, it's not an adversarial, negative sort of thing. It's really positive, just so that we coincide with them and anyway put the logistics together, and off we go. Out of time here at Inside Leominster. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up, and apparently people are going to show up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com.
And by Medical Arts Hearing Instruments, 52 West Street in Leominster, locally and authentically providing better hearing and quality of life since 1978. www.donot.shout.com.